Welcome to Tuesday Truths. You're here at You're On Leading Our Own Way. I'm Andrew White and I'm your host. And today I'm bringing you a special bite-sized look at one of the most honest conversations I think I've had. Justin Elliott spent years battling addiction, facing the consequences of his choices, losing things that mattered and rebuilding from scratch. In this episode you'll hear highlights from both parts of his story, part 1 and part 2 that's going to drop tomorrow. And they're from the darkest moments to the mission that now drives him every single day. This is raw, this is real, and this is exactly what Tuesday Truth is all about. Go back to listen to part 1 if you missed it, and join us tomorrow for part 2 with Justin Elliott's journey. Let's go.
It's been a bit of a, I think it's a lot of parts of my life play a role in why we're doing what we're doing. I grew up with not much, Mum didn't have much money. We were somewhat poor in a way. We'd done it pretty tough. Going down the crime road, being in and out of prison, seeing people's mental health, struggling with my own mental health over the years and coming out the other end of that. Just having an understanding for the people on the streets that, without judgment, try and make sense of their situation, or in a way not make sense of their situation. No one can understand what they've actually been through. Everyone's journey is different. So
absolutely,
I've got that heart for the people that are doing it tough and they may not know what their issue is, and that's pretty much why we do what we do.
So what are the, because we can only speak for Melbourne, and I've done a lot of cities in the world, and you see homeless everywhere you go, and it's so sad, especially the big cities. In Melbourne then, I've heard and seen it, it's gotten worse. I've been here 14 and a half years and I've seen it get worse over that time. What is the numbers, not worse, I shouldn't say worse, that's probably the wrong angle, the numbers have increased. Where do you know the stats on that? Can you paint a picture for us of what the numbers are looking like at the moment?
I don't know the exact stats. I don't really look into that. I probably should to get my head wrapped around that, but it's visually growing. The issue of homelessness and mental health, and obviously drug addictions don't help with unstable mental health and only amplifies the issue. And there's so many parts to the puzzle that why somebody is homeless. Yeah,
absolutely. I know it's that's really what I'm passionate about, is to prevent, or at least try and prevent, the mental health decline. Go to that root of where even if you have to go back to years, or even preventing a child's life now, or if adults, my age group on the podcast is probably between 30 and 45, but if I can reach that younger order age group as well, maybe we can prevent, or at least give tips to people of, like for example, all my guests, I want the people to take pieces of gems from yourself and other guests. And each guest from week to week might contradict each other, right? But that might work for you and it might work for the next person. So it's not contradicting, but the advice might conflict, but that piece of advice might work for somebody and the next piece of advice might work for somebody else. And that's what I love about this podcast, because we've got so many different types of journeys. We all look and perceive the world in a completely different way. Even though we can see the same thing in front of us, we all feel about it differently. Mm-hmm. And I just want people to be able to take pieces and put it into their life and go, that might work for me, I'm going to give it a shot. And if it doesn't, at least they tried, and they might be stronger from that within itself to try something different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good, Andrew, because I think the youth and the younger generation really need that, because I notice with people on the streets, if they let their mental health go for such a long period of time, it is so hard for them to get out of it and actually get to the bottom of why they are in the situation that they are. It's almost, in my eyes, in some ways, impossible for them to escape that.
Yeah, it's the brain, man. It's the machine that is literally on all the time. And when you start to think one way, the brain always goes to for the familiar, or the safe route. In that safe route doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy for you. It goes to what it knows. And if you're constantly thinking like that, you're always going to revert by that. So it's about shifting that mindset, isn't it? And sometimes having purpose in terms of contribution, like what you said before, when you've created the platform and go and helping the homeless every week, or whenever you may do it, if you think about it, it is a selfless act, but it's also selfish, because it makes us feel amazing. right? And if that works, it works. So sometimes I feel like I want to get these other people who are in a position to go and help somebody else themselves.
Yeah.
And they'll get some joy out of that, you know?
Exactly, man. Because I get a lot of people that reach out to me and they actually get inspired by what we do on the YouTube channel, and they want to start their own stuff in their own regional towns. And just to hear that, it's so awesome, man. And I could only imagine who else has been inspired by it. And, you know, we go out in groups of people that, you know, love what we do and want to be a part of it. So yeah, it's really good, man.
That's awesome. So you just mentioned about being a teenager. How did that come out? You know, was it anger? Was it fear? Was it anxiety? Was it, you know, a lot of kids get angry, don't they? When life isn't going in their direction. I see a lot of angry teenagers, especially some of the schools I go to still. Were you an angry kid growing up?
I think gradually I was becoming more and more angry. Yeah, definitely.
And how did that come out for you? Because I remember I remember you saying you got to some naughty things. What type of things would you do growing up to express and get out there in the world?
I'd be out there with some, at a young age, teenager. We'd go around somewhere, throw rocks at windows, you know, steal caps, like the tyre caps off cars, and just do little petty things like that. And it just gradually kept growing and growing. You know, I was pretty angry in a way. I was making a name for myself. I wouldn't put up with any crap from anybody or any bullies. I hated bullies.
Yeah, me too.
That was one thing when I was in school. If I seen a kid getting bullied, I'd be all over it, going to stop it, or you know, I'd end up bullying the bully in a way. So I did not like that. Yeah.
Two wrongs don't make a right, Justin.
I know you're telling me now. Thanks. Where were you 20, 30 years ago?
I know what you mean, though. You it's like a bit of a taste of their own medicine. School have to be the professional one, you know. You can't do that just because it does, you know, just because they're doing it doesn't mean you can do it. But sometimes you're in the staff room and you go, you deserve that.
And I sort of connect. I think because I despised bullies so much, you know, I went to school with my younger brothers, and if they got picked on, they'd be coming running up to me. Oh, he's picking on me, and then I'd go and sort it out. But I think that links in with my childhood and upbringing as well, is that I saw my brothers getting beat up sometimes, and that I hated seeing it. And I think that definitely reflects on why I hated bullies and dealt with bullies the way I did in school, definitely.
But, you know, when you're making the lunchboxes at home and doing what you're doing as a big brother / kind of parent, if you will, when they're out in there in the world, you want to carry on that role, don't you?
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, without even realising it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So in school then, you're leaving school, where does life take you then?
I think in high school, you know, I sort of stuffed up during high school. So around year 10, year 11, that's when I started mixing with the wrong crowd. I started stealing cars, going for joyrides, skipping school. You know, it led to robbing places, because obviously I had wheels, and then just gradually increased the severity of it. But I think I ended up getting kicked out. I basically got kicked out of one of the high schools that I was attending, because I ended up stealing a car, driving it like an idiot, smashed it into a parked car of a student that went to the school. And then I ended up running from that situation, and then I think they had a police helicopter circling around the school looking for me. The police ended up going to the school, and then I ended up getting expelled for that. So wow. That was the end of that high school.
So did you then attend another high school?
Yeah, I ended up attending another high school, ended up doing half of year 11, or nearly completed. I think I completed year 11 actually, but that's when I was just too far gone. I was visiting the prison system and going to juvie, and it didn't get any better.
Just taking a very quick break to thank our sponsor, SU Skincare. If you haven't heard of them, SU Skincare started right here in Australia, using Australian ingredients to make skincare straightforward and accessible, especially for men who want results without the fuss. Their journey took them all the way to the US, where they were featured in Macy's and over 300 stores. Now they're back with a fresh approach, focusing on healthy skin and authenticity for everyone. I'm proud to have SU Skincare as a sponsor on Leading Our Own Way. See the show notes for their website and to see how you can keep your skin healthy and confident. And if you're interested in sponsoring like SU Skincare, drop us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Now, right back to the episode.
Yeah, well, you really just need to want to not. You really want to have to get off it. You have to want to do it. At the end of the day, and you can find help. There's help out there. You know, I've got a good friend that runs a rehab. You know, there's a lot of other guys. You know, Dennis and everyone that's got that lived experience that can lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, run that rehab.
It's a matter of putting yourself out there and, you know, reaching out for support and really wanting to make that change within yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, give cold turkey a go, and it depends. It all depends too how big your habit is, how long you've been an addict, and there's so many bits that play a part, I think.
Yeah, with the cold turkey, it's quite hard if you have the freedom, isn't it? Whereas you didn't have the freedom, so it was not that it was easy for you, but to be locked away where you can't access it, and there's no choice. You were in a way forced into that situation, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
So outside of plastering, I know you've dabbled into a few other things in your work. What other type of work have you done in your time?
So like I've worked at Safeway, or Woolworths, when they used to call it Safeway.
Yeah.
I've had a job at Pizza Hut. I've had a job at a cake factory, at a reception. I've had a job putting up temporary fencing. So I've tried all different kinds of jobs, but fell into plastering by accident. You know, I was actually buying a car off a guy on the street. So it's, you know when the council puts a sticker on your car saying, you know, if it's unregistered, you know, if you don't get it off the road within this long, we're going to take it. So I ended up knocking on this door, ended up buying the car. He offered me a job, started working as a plasterer, and here I am today.
No way.
It was not intentional at all. I just fell into it.
And you're still with him today, did you say?
No, I'm not working for him. I've worked for many other guys during that time, but that's how it all kicked off.
That's crazy. I love that. With all of this time, what we've not mentioned, you started to grow a family, didn't you? You started to have you had children with your former partner. How old were you, and how long ago was that?
So I think I was about 21 when I had the first. He's 16 now. And my daughter's 12, going on 13 in a couple of months. But so I was with the mother of the children for 15 years. You know, split up about 4 years ago or something. It's good when you're young. You know, I think I was just very young at the time. You know, and
you were your dad.
Yeah, my state of mind and everything at that stage wasn't the greatest. You know, she liked the bad boy and I was the bad boy, and you know, eventually I grew out of that, and I think things started gradually, you know, falling apart. And at a lot of times it was toxic. You know, I wasn't the best person at times. She did things to provoke, and it was just back and forward, arguing, fighting. You know, even intervention orders getting in place at stages, and it was not a very healthy relationship. So unfortunately we ended that, or I ended up leaving, and you know, that was it. And now I'm married with a beautiful wife, and everything's just amazing on that side of things. But with the kids, there's a bit of a struggle, a bit of a story about that too. So I don't have any contact at the moment. They want nothing to do with me, so it's not easy, but it is what it is.
What would you say to them if they were listening now? What would you like them to hear from you?
Oh, that I love them. I love my kids dearly, and I don't think they realise that. Yeah.
Do you think it was easy? Well, not do you think, you probably already know. What was it like for them and for you, upon reflection, looking back, to see their dad go to prison so much in their young life?
Yeah, it probably wasn't good. We kept it like somewhat of a secret for a couple of times there when they were really, really young. But obviously, once they got older, they knew. I could imagine it wouldn't have been easy, you know, not having dad around, because I was very close with my children. My daughter was attached to me like glue, and grew up were really quick. Good, they were good, really good kids, and had really good relationships. But you know, obviously going to prison would have fractured a few things within them. But I was always there in other ways. But I think the thing that mainly affected them was the split up. You know, about 4 years ago now. I think that played a bigger role than any of the prison sentences. Yeah.
What you just witnessed is only a snippet of our amazing conversation this week. This is what Leading Our Own Way is all about. Real stories, real transformation. If you're watching this before Wednesday, part 1 dropped yesterday and part 2 releases tomorrow. But if you're already here after Wednesday, all parts are available now. Head to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and every other major platform and look for the numbers on the bottom left-hand corner of the episode's covers to start with part 1. Trust me, you don't want to miss this incredible journey.